Welcome back.
Welcome. Episode 4.
Yes. We should know this. We've done this.
Right?
Thank you for tuning in again to Just One More Chapter. I'm Melanie.
I'm Santana.
And we're so glad that you guys have been enjoying this show.
Yes.
All of the support has been so nice.
Yeah, it's been amazing.
All of the comments, the shares, we really see that, and we really appreciate you guys doing that for us. We are on Fable. If you guys are not aware or haven't followed us on social media, there is an app called Fable where you can have your book club online where you guys can chat, and it's been going really great.
Yeah.
Great? I don't know what that was. It's been great.
It's been great.
But it's been so good, like actually getting to chat and see people, because we have read Flock, even though we are rereading it. It's nice that people get to chat about like this chapter, and you're like, oh my god,
This
the chapter.
part of the book. Yeah, it's exciting.
It's so exciting. So you haven't joined us. The link for Fable will be in our description, show notes, anywhere you're listening to this. If you want to join Fable, it's a free app, and you can actually log your book that you are reading if it's not Flock, like just how Goodreads is.
Yeah.
It's just like Goodreads, but also you can have a book club. So yeah, check it out.
Join us.
What's going on, Santana, in your life?
Oh, not too much. I actually read my first, I listened to my first audiobook.
Really?
Well, I haven't finished it, but I started this week. When I'm
Okay.
walking my dogs, I was like, why not? I'll try this out. It's a little weird.
What are you listening to?
The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. By
Okay, I've
Lori
heard of this
Gilmore.
book.
Yeah,
I've heard of this
I was like,
book.
oh, well, I'll try listening. 'Cause
Yeah.
I walk both my dogs an hour each, so that's 2 hours a day. I could be like listening to a book. So I was
Totally.
like, okay, I'll try it out. It's a little weird. It is a little weird.
What's
It has
weird?
I don't know. Just like sometimes the voice, it like gets to me because it's just a woman and she's reading like both like the man's part and the woman's part. You know what I mean? So it's a little weird, but
Yeah, that can kind of pull you out of
yeah,
it.
you know. So I don't know. I'm gonna finish.
Yeah.
and I don't know if I'll.
If it's your cup of tea.
Yeah, because I had a free credit, so I was like, okay, I'll try that out.
Okay.
But I don't know if I'd buy a book on there. You know what I mean?
Where was it?
On Audible.
Oh yeah, Audible. Okay. Yeah. It makes sense. Like if you're walking your dogs that long, why
Yeah,
not listen to a book
exactly.
to get more reading in?
Exactly.
But I think it's
I don't know.
especially because it's a woman and you know she's reading the mail too.
Yeah, it's
You're
just-
because when you're listening to it, are you trying to just listen? Like
Yeah, well, I'm like picturing it in my head as
okay,
well.
that's
you
what I'm trying to
know?
say.
So
Yeah.
But then again, it's like I just don't know. I don't know if I'm into it. I've listened to I think 9 chapters now. So
How long is the book? Like, is it
7 hours.
okay?
7 hours long.
Okay.
I don't know. It doesn't tell me like how many chapters. It just says like how many hours.
Hours
there
are
is.
left? Okay.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'll continue. But I figured I'd give it a shot.
Yeah, and you've done more than I have for an audiobook. I tried with Libby.
Yeah.
The app. I've tried the audiobook there,
Yeah.
and I didn't even get like a few minutes in. I couldn't.
And I think the voice too, like it can throw you off if it's not like a good listening voice.
Yeah.
Do you know
If
what
the
I
act- if the
mean?
actor isn't
The
good,
voice actor,
yeah.
it's just like
That can really
ooh.
pull you out of
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Yeah, but even if it's good, I feel like I want it to be in my head,
Yes.
rather than like hearing them
Yes,
talk about it.
yeah.
Like especially if you've seen those clips where it's like. Okay, so dark romance, whatever.
Dark romance.
But like, if it's like male trying to be like seductive, you're like, ew,
Oh, it's cringy.
don't.
So cringy. I know.
So
So I
cringy.
figured I'd start with like a light, cute little romance book and not have to deal with that because I knew that would cringe me out. Because I
Yes.
hear it on TikTok and I'm just
Yes.
like, not for me.
No, girls are like eating that shit up, and I'm like,
I know.
ugh.
No.
That's disgusting. I don't want to do it. I'm not even gonna try and like pretend I'm gonna say
There's
it.
like
but
this app you can download where it's just like listening to those male actors like talk dirty like that. Shut
the fuck up.
I've
What?
seen it on TikTok and I was like,
It's like OnlyFans, but for voices.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. I was
Oh
like,
my God.
who is into this?
Hey, some people are. I don't know. Yeah,
I was
that
just
is
like, not for me.
not
not
for you. We have to let us know how the rest of the book goes and if you
Yeah.
actually finish it, because
I
who
will.
knows, you might not finish it.
Exactly. Exactly.
But I
It's
guess if you're
true.
walking with your dogs,
I
you're
know. I
gonna-
figured I may as well try.
Listen
but
anyway.
I don't know if it's for me or not.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm an audio girl.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know people who have, and I wish I could be.
Yeah.
So you could, instead of listening to a podcast,
Yeah.
you could, read a book
Yeah.
and then get more books in. But
Exactly.
I just don't.
I
feel like
know.
sometimes you might not really pay attention to.
Yeah,
like
I was getting distracted as
Yeah.
well, and then I was like, wait, what did she just say?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
And you can't really, I don't think you're going to want to keep pressing, go back to hear it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I've heard sometimes people who listen to audiobooks,
Mm-hmm.
they don't really, not remember, but they're not really getting the book.
Yeah, I feel for me too, I have to read something to really process it
Exactly.
and remember it.
That's
you know what
yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
That's how my brain works.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, I figured I'd try.
Oh, I was going to say, what's new with me?
Yeah, what's new with you?
I don't even know. You'd think I'd prep this, but I didn't. I didn't prep this at all. I don't know. I don't think anything's really new with me today. I'm just really enjoying, actually, especially, I'm really enjoying reading books that have witches in them. I just started that.
Yes.
And I've read Kingdom of the Wicked, and it's really, really good. I really enjoy it. It's like my first fantasy in a while. I think
Yeah.
most of my books have been romance.
Yes.
And so this is like a fantasy, and it's not too crazy, but I've really enjoyed it.
Oh, good.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
so
I'll have to check that one out because you're telling me it's really good.
yeah, it's really good. I liked it better than The Veiled Kingdom that I read, even though The Veiled Kingdom was quicker. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I
Yeah.
think it's a really good fall
Oh,
book.
good.
So
I'll have to check that one out.
that's for me. So this is a Halloween episode.
Yes. Happy
Yay!
Halloween.
Happy Halloween. It doesn't look like it on YouTube. But it is Halloween. This does air. No, this isn't. Yeah. So October the 18th is when this episode comes out. Halloween is on a Thursday. Unfortunately, we couldn't have an episode come out on Thursday. We're
Yes.
sticking with Friday. So
Fridays.
technically this one, even though it's not Halloween when you're listening to this,
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween anyway. And we thought we'd kind of have like a Halloween themed episode. And by Halloween, we mean we're going to talk about like horror books, thriller books,
Thrillers.
TV shows, movies that we kind of recommend. And we're going to play like a little game later
Yes,
on.
I'm excited for this episode.
I'm so excited. So, Santana, do you want to start off?
I will start off with my first book recommendation is The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. So this book just got the green light for a movie with Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried.
Yes,
That's how you say her name,
yes.
right? Yeah, so I'm really excited. It's a short read, so it's only about 300 pages. So if you haven't read it, I do recommend reading it. So it is about Millie, a young and beautiful woman who applies and is offered a job as a live-in housekeeper for a wealthy couple, Nina and Andrew Winchester. For Millie, who has a criminal record, it is a fantastic job until it's not. Things go downhill quickly as Nina Winchester exhibits increasingly bizarre and frustrating behavior. Millie is also offered a room in the house in the attic, that only locks from the outside.
Okay.
In this fun and quick-paced psychological thriller, Millie wonders what type of people she's working for.
Dude.
So it's a short read, but it's got like fun little twists in it.
Okay.
So I do recommend reading it.
Yeah. What rating did you give that book? Do you remember?
I think it was a 4.
Yeah.
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 I never heard
It
of it.
was so fast paced. So
That keeps you on your
it keeps
toes.
you on your toes and you're guessing, and then like that twist, it's like whoa.
Oh, well, I'm excited to watch it. Hopefully, I get to read the
Yeah.
book before I
Yeah.
watch it.
Yeah, I own it, so you can have
Perfect.
it.
Oh, that's so cool. Because I've never heard of it. I just saw the videos that each of the actors made, and I was like,
Yes.
"What is this book?"
Yeah.
And so then everyone was like talking about it, and I guess, how did you hear about it when you?
I don't know. I
Was it a recommendation?
I think so. And it was at the library, so I was
Okay.
like, oh, check it out.
And the
I think my
cover
sister
looks.
recommended it to me. I can't remember, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
The cover looks interesting.
Yeah.
'Cause she's like peeping through a keyhole.
The keyhole,
Yeah.
yes.
That's a cool.
And I think it's a series. I've only read the first one, but
Oh yeah.
yeah.
That's cool. I have to read that one.
Yes.
My first recommendation is a book called A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham. When Chloe Davis was 12, 6 teenage girls went missing in her small Louisiana town. By the end of the summer, Chloe's father had been arrested as a serial killer and promptly put into prison. Chloe and the rest of her family were left to grapple with the truth and try to move forward while dealing with the aftermath. Now, 20 years later, Chloe is a psychologist in a private practice in Baton Rouge, and getting ready for her wedding. She finally has a fragile grasp on the happiness she worked so hard to get. Sometimes, though, she feels as out of control of her own life. Oh gosh, you guys, that was terrible reading. Okay. Sometimes, though, she feels as out of control of her own life as the troubled teens who are her patients. And then a local teenage girl goes missing. And then another. And that terrifying summer comes crashing back. Is she paranoid and seeing parallels that aren't really there? Or for the second time in her life, she's about to unmask a killer? In a debut novel that has already been opted, oh, that's just about, sorry guys. So that was the last bit. So I rated it 3 stars. I read this 2023. I thought it was a good book. It goes from past to present because it's about what happened of the first time teenage girls went missing. Her dad got sent to prison, and she doesn't really talk to her dad. And as these new teenagers go missing, she kind of feels like maybe she needs to go talk to her dad because it'd be like, "What did you do when I was younger?"
Yeah.
And people in the town are trying to like be like, "Is it him? Did he get
Trying to
out?"
piece it together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it interesting. It was okay. I've never read as many thriller or horror books like you have. So for me, sometimes I feel like it's kind of hard if it's not fast paced.
Yes.
It's kind of hard to really feel the thrill.
Oh, totally.
You know?
Yeah, and if there's not enough like twists
Yeah.
or like, that those like awe moments,
You're kind of guessing.
yeah. Totally.
I still recommend it. I still find it to be a good read. So I did enjoy it. So yeah.
That was a 3-star for you?
3-star for me.
My next one is Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister. So it is, let's see here, I just have a little summary of the book. It is midnight on the morning of Halloween, and Jen anxiously waits up for her 18-year-old son Todd to return home, but worries about his broken curfew transforms into something more dangerous when Todd finally emerges from the darkness. As Jen watches through the window, she sees her funny, seemingly happy teenage son stab a total stranger. She doesn't know who the victim is or why Todd has committed such a devastating act of violence. All she knows is that her life and Todd's have been shattered. After her son is taken into custody, Jen falls asleep in despair, but when she wakes up, it is yesterday. The murder has not happened yet, and there may be a chance to stop it. Each morning, when Jen awakes, she is further back in the past, first weeks, then years before the murder, and Jen realizes that somewhere in the past lies the trigger for Todd's terrible crime.
We can't talk together, you guys.
Oh my gosh! And it is her mission to find it and prevent it from taking place.
Whoa.
So I really enjoyed this one, how it would like jump back into the past and you're
so
like, what is
interesting.
going on? Like it kept me guessing the whole time. And I rated this one a 3-star. I enjoyed it, but then like you said, that guessing constantly, it kind of gets like a bit much, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it sounds like a really cool concept
It
though.
I did like how it would like jump in the past, but then it kind of got a little bit confusing. But
Is it so that she as long as she falls back asleep for that night, then it goes again?
Yeah, she's back. It could be like a day before the murder, a week before the murder, like 10 years before her son was even born. She's trying to like figure out like why he did this and like what like happened in her life to lead up to this. Do you know what I mean? So
interesting.
And the ending was really good as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never heard of it. That's such a cool concept. My next recommendation is No Exit by Taylor Adams. There's this book also has a TV debut on Disney Plus, if you guys like to watch things. I gave it a 2 stars. Let's hear the description. A kidnapped little girl locked in a stranger's van. No help for miles. What would you do? Darby Thorne is a college student stranded by a blizzard at a highway rest stop in the middle of nowhere. She's on the way home to see her sick mother. She'll have to spend the night in the rest stop with 4 complete strangers. Then she stumbles across a little girl locked inside one of the parked cars. There's no cell phone reception, no telephone, no way out because of the snow, and she doesn't know which one of the other travelers is the kidnapper. Who is this little girl, and why has she been taken, and how can Darby save her? So I did enjoy this book. I find it very slow.
Yeah,
Way too
I agree.
slow.
I read this one as well.
Yeah, of just getting to where the author is trying to go.
Yes.
It was just like, oh, just get to it. Just get to it. Like there's like
It dragged.
Dragged. Yeah, that's a better word of saying boring. It dragged.
Yeah.
It dragged. I did watch the Disney Plus TV movie. It's okay.
I haven't checked that out.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
I think because of the way I view the book, I understand why I view the movie the way I view it.
Yeah.
It's a cool concept. I just feel like it just dragged the book. So I gave it a 2 stars.
Yeah.
We're like recommending books that we give.
We're like 3 stars or less.
You guys should read it. I haven't read that much, but like it's, you know, we all have our own ratings and reviews. So whatever we rate these books, that doesn't mean you're gonna rate them the same way.
Yeah, exactly. Like you might really enjoy these books that we're recommending to
exactly.
you.
So
like if it sounds good to you, check them out.
Exactly. That's totally right. Just because we may not be sound convincing sometimes. But I guess I just want to reiterate, no matter what we rate these books, if the description interests you, read it and you can make your own review.
Yeah, and you can let us know.
Yeah.
As well.
Like, are you right?
liked it.
Or you're totally wrong.
Exactly. My next one is Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. Jules Larson is a young woman with less than $500 in her checking account, a broken engagement, and no job. When she's offered a chance to apartment sit for an apartment at a beautiful upscale building called the Bartholomew, she jumps at the chance despite knowing that it all seems a little too good to be true. Jules begins to look into the many stories that surround the Bartholomew. She soon starts to uncover secrets of its dark and haunted past. However, it seems that there are those around her that would prefer those secrets to stay buried. So I really enjoyed this one. I couldn't guess the twist of this one. I rated it 4 stars. I really enjoyed this one. Yeah, I would recommend this one.
Yeah. I do recommend this one.
Yeah, there was a lot of like creepy characters in this book, and you couldn't guess like who the killer was.
I like
Do you know
that.
what I mean?
Yeah.
At the end, you're just like, whoa, and it's like kind of creepy what they're doing with these people that are going missing.
Yeah.
So I recommend this one.
Sounds like a good Halloween one.
Yeah, exactly.
My last one is called The Good Daughter by Karen Slaughter.
Oh, this one is good.
It is good. 2 girls are forced into the woods at gunpoint. One runs from her life, one is left behind. 28 years ago, Charlotte and Samantha Quinn's happy small town family life was torn apart by a terrifying attack on their family home. It left their mother dead, it left their father, Pikeville's notorious defense attorney, devastated, and it left the families fractured beyond repair, consumed by secrets from that terrible night. 28 years later, and Charlie has followed in her father's footsteps to become a lawyer herself. The ideal good daughter. But when the violence comes to Pikeville again, and a shocking tragedy leaves the whole town traumatized, Charlie is plunged into a nightmare. Not only is she the first witness on the scene, but it's a case that unleashes the terrible memories she spent so long trying to suppress. Because the shocking truth about the crime that destroyed her family nearly 30 years ago won't stay buried forever. Packed with twists and turns, brimming with emotion and heart, The Good Daughter is a fiction at its most thrilling. I was trying to find where I rated it because I have read it before. I just couldn't find. I think I enjoyed this book.
Yeah, Karen Slaughter's a good author if you're into like thrillers and stuff like that. She has a lot of good novels.
So you've read more from her?
Yes, yeah.
You read this one too,
I've read
right?
this one too, yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this book. I can't really remember it, unfortunately, as we were doing this, how I really felt, but I do remember I did give it a high rating, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely recommend it. It's on my shelf.
Nice, you own this one.
I own this one, so I've read it. I just can't remember.
So now we are going to move on to our movie recommendations, our horror or thriller movies. Mine are all horror-ish.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm a big horror movie fanatic. I love
We
horror
couldn't
movies.
tell by your recommendations.
I love horror movies.
Yes, like around the fall and the Halloween season, it always is so fun to like rewatch the classics.
Yes, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just it's fun. I do love horror movies. Like I love being scared.
Yes.
Or trying to be.
Yeah.
Because nowadays movies aren't really scary.
I
you
know.
guys.
I find that too. Yeah, I don't know why that is the way it is. Maybe it's because we're older too. Like I
was
feel like
just
when I was a
thinking that.
teenager, like I used to get so scared by movies, but now it's just like, oh, like it's
You use logic. You're like, that can't really happen.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's so hard when you get older and you have, you're like, really? Could that really happen?
Yeah.
It's hard to what's it called? Suspend disbelief.
Yes.
When you get older.
Exactly.
But I think what really helps with horror movies is watching in a theater because everything
Yes.
is so heightened
Yes.
that it's so easy
It's true.
to
That
get
is
scared
true.
because everyone's like, ooh,
Yeah,
I should be scared too.
Everyone's screaming around.
But if you're in the comfort of your home, you're like, I can just turn a light on.
Exactly. This isn't that scary.
This isn't scary anymore.
Totally.
Santana, do you want to do your first recommendation?
So my first recommendation, this one was released in the summer. It's called Long Legs, starring Nicolas Cage and Micah Monroe. So FBI agent Lee Harker is assigned to an unsolved serial killer case that takes an unexpected turn, revealing evidence of the occult. Harker discovers a personal connection to the killer and must stop him before he strikes again. I really enjoyed this movie. It was like kind of psychological, a few little jump scares, nothing too crazy like that, but I love the way it was filmed. It was very dark. It's set in the 80s, so you kind of get like that old school feel. It kind of reminded me of like Silence of the Lambs a little bit in that. Like,
I've heard that comparison.
yes, in that sense a little bit. Just because she's like the FBI agent, she has a connection to the killer, you know what I mean? So I like this movie. I recommend this one.
I heard it's really good.
And you can't even like recognize Nicolas Cage in this movie.
I've seen those photos.
And he is super creepy. It creeped me out. Yeah. Like his character is hella creepy.
Oh,
But
goodness.
yeah, I like this one.
And it's an original, I guess,
I think
story.
yeah, and I think I'm not sure if this is like a new director, but he's a fairly young director.
Okay.
So I liked the way he filmed it and how
Yeah.
it was directed. It was
I'll
really
have to
cool.
watch that. No, I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard it's such good. Everyone's
Yeah.
talking about it.
Yeah, I liked it.
I wish it kind of came out more towards this kind of season.
Me too.
You know?
Like when it's released in like the summer, it's like, oh.
Yeah, you're like, do you want us to go see a horror movie? I don't know. Just like books, like you have to kind of read it around like the colder months.
Seasonal.
Yeah.
Totally.
Okay, mine is for me number one. I know we're not like ranking these, but for me this is number one. Is The Haunting of Hill House, which came out on Netflix in 2008 by director Mike Flanagan, who's my favorite current director for horror. This modern reimagining of Shirley Jackson's novel follows siblings who, as children, grew up in what would go on to become the most famous haunted house in the country. Now adults, they are forced back together in the face of tragedy. What? Face of tragedy, there we go, and must finally confront the ghosts of their past. Some of those ghosts still lurk in their minds, while others may be actually stalking the shadows of Hill House. That's a very generic description. It is so well done. It is a TV series
Oh, okay.
on Netflix, and each of the episodes are 45, I think 50 minutes long. Mike Flanagan is a genius.
Yeah.
If anything that we ever talk about this episode, I feel like everyone has to watch this.
Yes.
The jump scares. There's so many things going on in the background that you can catch later on.
Oh, okay.
The acting, the directing. There's one episode where it's called a one shot, where it's all one take, the entire
I
episode.
love that. I think that is so cool when directors do that. Like,
so amazing.
It's incredible.
It's incredible. This for me, I know we just talked about like, are you really that scared in your house? You're gonna be creeped the F out when you watch The Haunting of Hill House.
Oh, I have to check this out. I don't think I've ever heard of this.
What?
No.
Really? Oh God, girl, get on your Netflix tonight
Yeah.
and watch episode one.
I'll have to check it out.
It follows each of the siblings and how each of the siblings deal with what happened in their past. Like one is more sad, one is more angry and mad, and it's just the actors and the acting. It's just, oh my God, this is such a good horror TV series that I absolutely recommend.
Oh, okay. I'll have to check that one out.
Check
for
it out.
sure. My next one is Smile.
Number two comes out.
Yes, I'm going to see it with me and Matt are going to go watch
Shut
it.
up.
I don't think I've ever seen a movie in the theaters, like a horror movie in the theaters. So I'm
Really?
really excited.
Really? Wow.
So Smile is a movie starring Sosie Bacon and Kyle Gallner. After witnessing a bizarre traumatic incident involving a patient, a psychiatrist becomes increasingly convinced she is being threatened by an uncanny entity. So this one freaked me out. I
It's
watched this
so
one at home and it
creepy.
still freaks me out. So, you know, they had a lot of jump scares and just like the smiles, how they did the
shivers.
smiles. Oh, so creepy.
So
the ending
creepy.
was a little crazy for me.
I agree.
I was just like,
I agree.
it went a little bit overboard for me, but I mean, I really enjoyed the movie up until that point. It was a little laughable, like at the end.
Yeah.
I was like, why did they do that? But I mean, they did leave it open for a sequel, right?
Yeah.
So
True. And,
Yeah.
so, you know, that makes sense because there is another one coming out.
Yeah.
So I get that, but yeah.
yeah, I
could-
do recommend it. If you like jump scares and being creeped out, this one's for you.
It's really good. So I'm on the Mike Flanagan train. I can't help it. I find him so good. So I'm going to recommend a movie called Hush that came out in 2016. A deaf writer who retreated into the woods to live a solitary life must fight for her life in silence when a masked killer appears in her window.
Ooh, I think I've seen this
Yes.
one. Yes, I watched this, I think, years ago, but
Yeah.
yeah,
The-
super creepy.
The concept of a woman being deaf in the middle of the woods
Yes.
and a guy's out there trying to scare her, you'd think like, oh, it's comical. She can't hear him. No,
No.
it is creepy.
Super creepy,
Because
yeah.
she doesn't know where he is.
Yeah.
It's so well done. And you think with the least dialogue of a movie that it wouldn't really interest you.
Yeah.
It interests
No,
you.
definitely. I remember this one. Yeah.
It's such a good
Super
movie.
creepy.
Yeah.
My next one is The Black Phone, starring Ethan Hawke and Mason Thames. It's also based on a book of the same name by Joe Hill.
Oh.
I think the book is just a short horror stories. So it is about Finney Shaw. He is a shy but clever 13-year-old boy who's being held in a soundproof basement by a sadistic masked killer. When a disconnected phone on the wall starts to ring, he soon discovers that he can hear the voices of the murder's previous victims, and they are dead set on making sure that what happened to them does not happen to Finney. I liked this one. Again, it's set in the 80s. It's just giving you like that old school vibe. Super creepy.
I think
and I
the-
liked how they did the disconnected phone and he's hearing like the ghosts
Yes,
essentially,
the
but they're
vo-
trying to help him. I really liked
Yes.
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's so sad. Like it's such a it pulls your
Yeah, it
heartstrings.
does.
Because you know the boys are talking to him, but you don't know if he's gonna make it.
Yeah.
Right. Like
Yeah, I liked that movie a lot.
it's. But yeah, I didn't know it was a book, but also I don't know if this is correct or not. I thought it was kind of inspired. Inspired is such a horrible thing when you're talking about tragedy, but the murders of the young boys were kind of like based off of an actual serial killer who took young boys. But maybe
I
that's what the
see.
short story is
Yeah,
about.
maybe it could be. I haven't read it. I when I was doing research for this, I was like, oh, I did not know.
I never watched it, but I've always seen so many clips out there.
Yeah, it's really good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
He's such a good actor.
He is. He played a good like villain in this one. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, he's creepy.
But also how he has a
And he
mask
wears, like,
on
a
too.
mask, yeah.
Talk to Me.
Oh, I love this one.
Came out in 2022. It's a movie on Netflix. When a group of friends discover how to conjure spirits with an embalmed hand, they become hooked on a new thrill and high-stakes party game until one of them goes too far and unleashes terrifying supernatural forces. Such a good
movie. It was like, yeah, it was one of the best movies I think I'd seen. It was released last year, right?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
that year it was the best horror movie I'd watched all year.
Absolutely. So smart of Netflix to take it on because it's originally an England movie director.
Australian, yeah. Yes,
you're right.
yeah.
Sorry, that was terrible. I think it was on a different network, but it's so well done.
Yeah, it was great.
And the parallels between them doing this demonic hand and then parallels between like drinking and alcohol and
Yeah.
substance abuse.
Yeah.
So beautifully well
It was
done.
so good.
Oh, it's done really well.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
I think there's a sequel coming out too.
I don't know. I didn't hear that.
I think it's in the works.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because the end, if you've seen it, it's definitely open.
Yeah,
You're
they
like,
leave it open.
yeah,
for sure.
of what happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, I go watch it on Netflix. It is such a
Yeah,
good
I love
movie.
that movie. The next one is X, starring Mia Goth, Jenna Ortega, and Brittany Snow. In 1979, a group of young filmmakers set out to make an adult film in a rural Texas farm, but when their reclusive hosts catch them in the act, the crew find themselves fighting for their lives. If you like slasher movies, this one's definitely for you. It's very gory. I just love the way it was filmed. I love Mia Goth in this. I think she did such a good job.
She's so good.
And like so good. And
So
this is
good.
a trilogy, so there are other movies in this series. She did amazing in Pearl, the second one as well.
And there's
She's such
there's
a good
already another
actress.
one coming out
Yes,
too, or
yeah.
has came
Maxine,
out.
yes. Yeah, that was my least favorite of the trilogy.
I've never okay.
But yeah, X and Pearl were outstanding. I love that.
And it's such like the X is such a kind of like nostalgia of that era
that,
and like
that 70s,
the 70s
porn era.
I just love like there's like a shot they're always trying to angle to the girl's ass, and you know it's just what they did like old horror movies. They're always showing the woman's body for no reason.
It's like why?
Shortest of shorts.
So true. That is so funny.
I just that's why I love that movie, because you're like, oh yeah, of course they always fucking did that.
Yeah, and it's just directed beautifully too. I think this one was Ty West, so I think he did an amazing job.
It is
The
well
way
done.
it's shot and
Yeah.
everything. I loved it.
It was so good. Let's see. Okay, I know you're like, don't talk about Mike Flanagan. I can't help it.
Another one.
Another one. This one. There's too many. I'm just gonna say Mike Flanagan. Type his name in the Google search bar. He has a lot of projects out on Netflix. He's also going to be he is taking over the oh my gosh, the Stephen King series. No, is it The Shining?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, maybe I think he just took over a certain series he's gonna redo, and now I'm blanking.
Oh.
And it's gonna bug me so much. So you know what? I have a phone in my freaking lap. I'm
The
going
Shining
to,
would be crazy to redo.
no, not so he did do Doctor Sleep. Sorry, so that's why I was kind of getting confused.
Oh,
He
okay.
did Doctor Sleep with Ewan McGregor, which is after The Shining.
Okay.
So definitely check that out. But no, Mike Flanagan took over what franchise? He's all like every year, not this year, but every other year, like 2023, 2022, 2021, he's always dropped out a TV show on how like the fall season.
season.
And so this year I'm like, where is he? Because I need that fall series.
Where
The
are you, Mike?
Exorcist. The Exorcist. He's taking over the Exorcist franchise.
Ooh, crazy.
Yes, so he is so good. So that's my
He'll do that very well.
He'll do it very well. So even though I just said I didn't give you guys a recommendation, this is my last one. I have not seen it, but it's currently on Netflix. It's called What's Inside. A pre-wedding reunion descends into a psychological nightmare for a group of college friends when a surprise guest arrives with a mysterious suitcase.
Ooh.
It's out on Netflix right now. It is already like it's on the top 10.
Oh, okay.
I've heard it's kind of comparing to Talk to Me and another movie I can't remember right now, but
cool.
it's doing really well. It's on right now. I'm gonna probably watch it this coming weekend. So
I'll have to check that out.
check it out. Okay, we're gonna get into a little game
Yes.
that you guys can play along. We'll hopefully do a good job describing everything for the audio listeners.
Yes.
So we kind of came up with an idea of choosing 5 different horror themed books.
Yes.
And Santana, I don't know what these books are. Each of us have picked 5 books for each other that we don't know about,
Yes.
and we're going to show each other the cover of the book. And just from the cover, you us and everyone else has to guess what the heck this book could be about.
So it's gonna be interesting.
It's going to be interesting. We've never read these books,
We'll
so
see if you can really judge a book by its cover here.
exactly. Because sometimes these books have nothing to do with the covers show.
Like the most random covers.
The
sometimes.
yes. So hopefully we each kind of have like an easier one, a
Yes.
harder one,
Yeah.
to kind of make it interesting. So Santana, I want you to take a look at the first book, The Final Girl Support Group by Grady
right.
Hendrix. And for the audio listeners, I want you to describe what you see on the cover.
Oh, right. So on the cover is a red chair. It looks like it's painted either in blood or paint. I'm not sure. It's dripping. Okay, so the Final Girl Support Group. What do I think this would be about?
And everyone who's watching on YouTube, you can look at the visuals and see the pictures.
Yes. So I'm going to assume this is about a serial killer. No, this is about the girls who are like almost killed by a serial killer. And they create a support group.
Yes.
Is it really?
Yes.
Well, it goes by the title too, right? So you can kind of guess from that. But yeah, like the Final Girl Support Group. So like
yes.
the serial killers, girls creating a support group.
Yeah, no, you totally got it. Here's the description. In horror movies, the final girls are the ones left standing when the credits roll. They made it through the worst night of their lives, but what happens after? The Final Girl Support Group pays tribute to and sly subverts our most popular horror films, movies like The Chainsaw Massacre, A Nightmare on Elm Street, and Scream. Lynette is a real-life final girl who survived a masculine? What is with us today?
I know.
What is going on?
It's hard to talk today.
It's hard to talk today. A massacre. For more than a decade, she has been meeting with 5 other final girls and their therapist in a support group for those who survived the unthinkable, working to put their lives back together. Then one woman misses a meeting and their worst fears are realized. Someone knows about the group and is determined to rip their lives apart again, piece by piece. But the thing about Final Girls is that no matter how bad the odds are, how dark the night, how sharp the knife, they will never ever give up.
Ooh, that sounds really good.
It's cool. It's a cool.
So these are survivors creating a support group, essentially.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
Each of these girls had a serial killer try to come after them for whatever reason, and they've survived, and they just kind of meet together and talk about the trauma of it all.
Okay.
And just kind of meet
And then you got that twist of the girl going missing
one
again.
girl goes missing in their support
crazy.
group, and they're trying to figure out how do people know about this? Is one of the killers trying to come back and hurt them? It's really cool. I gave it a 3 stars. I enjoyed it. So
I'll have to check that one out.
You got it.
So I want you to look at the bunny.
Okay.
Try and guess what that's about.
Okay, so it is a pink background with a silhouette of a bunny. Oh God.
This one's hard.
Thanks. I gave her an easy one. She gave me a hard one. A bunny, you are so genius. It's a quote. Okay, author, 13 Ways of Looking at a Fat Girl. What? Is that what it says?
Yeah, I think that's her previous novel.
Oh, okay. Oh, author of. Oh, oops. Okay, you really threw me for a loop.
This one's the hardest one, I think.
Okay, so I think this is about a girl, okay, and she keeps seeing, okay, I'm just gonna say it. This girl keeps seeing like a bunny, and the bunny, like, whenever she sees a bunny, it like brings on like an omen of death or something. It's not it, but that was my guess.
Yeah, not quite, but it's okay. We're guessing. So the summary here. Everything changes for university student Samantha Heather Mackey when she receives an invitation to the campus clique, the Bunnies. As Samantha plunges deeper and deeper into the bunny world, she starts to take part in the off-campus workshop where they devise their monstrous creations. The edge of the edges of reality begin to blur, and her friendships with Ava and the bunnies are brought into deadly collision.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's still very vague.
It is very vague.
Yeah, that's very vague.
I haven't read it, so I can't really give you whether it's good or not.
That's okay.
I think this one is also going to become a movie as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
damn.
what I seen when I was doing research. So
That's
I was like,
cool. Yeah.
Another book into a movie.
Another book into a movie. It sounds interesting. I would like to hear more about exactly like what's happening.
Yeah.
But that sounds cool.
This is a short summary for you, but
yeah. That's cool.
I thought it was an interesting cover. That's why.
No, it is an interesting cover. I did not get that at all.
It's a hard one.
I'm gonna choose The House That Horror Built by Christina Henry.
Oh, right. The House That Horror Built. It looks like a hallway. It's got a light hanging down and a door with a red light coming underneath of it. Mm-hmm. So this is so hard. I'm gonna say that this is about a group of friends who are on vacation who go to this house.
On vacation? Keep going.
They go on vacation, they rent this house and realize that it's maybe haunted. Weird things start happening.
I'll put you out of your misery.
Yeah, that's my best description.
A single, not when you didn't get it close, but that's okay.
I didn't think so.
A single mother working in the gothic mansion of a reclusive horror director stumbles upon a terrifying secrets. Harry Adams loves horror movies, so it's no coincidence that she accepts the job cleaning house for a hoary? What is happening with us today? Oh my gosh, you guys. What the heck? Cleaning house for a horror movie director, Javier Castello. His forbidding gray stone Chicago mansion, Bright Horses, is filled from top to bottom with terrifying props, costume, as well as glittering awards from his career making movies that thrilled audiences, until family tragedy and scandal forced him to vanish from the industry. Javier values discretion, and Harry always tries to keep the house immaculate, her head down and her job safe. Then she hears noises from behind a locked door, noises that sound remarkably like a human voice calling for help. Harry knows not asking questions is a vital part of keeping her job, but she soon discovers that the house may be home to secrets she can't ignore.
Ooh, that sounds really good.
Sounds interesting.
I like how they got like the horror movie aspect in that one.
Yeah, I haven't read it, but that sounds cool. You know, she's obviously people need house cleaners sometimes, and you're kind of in a house seeing all these like weird props.
Yeah.
Like you could get like the chills and
Creepy.
creeps. So it sounds interesting. So far, Santana's gotten one. Okay?
I got one.
Give me one.
Sorry. So I want you to look at Hidden Pictures.
Hidden Pictures. So this is nighttime, and there's a bunch of stars, silhouette of trees, a car parked with its headlights on, a person holding a shovel, digging a ditch. Digging something. Hidden Pictures. There's a shovel. Okay. This is about a character who is trying to figure out a mystery that is being solved, and they're finding like clues like in their house, and for some reason they have to drive to this certain location to dig something up. I don't know.
Yeah, kind of. So, the Hidden Pictures is about a woman working as a nanny for a young boy with strange and disturbing secrets. Fresh out of rehab, Mallory Quinn takes a job as a babysitter for Ted and Caroline Maxwell. She is to look after their 5-year-old son, Teddy. Good Lord. Mallory immediately loves it. She has her own living space, goes out for nightly runs, and has the stability she craves. And she sincerely bonds with Teddy, a sweet, shy boy who is never without a sketchbook and pencil. His drawings are the usual fare: trees, rabbits, balloons. But one day he draws something different: a man in a forest dragging a woman's lifeless body. Then Teddy's artwork becomes increasingly sinister, and his stick figures quickly evolve into lifelike sketches well beyond the ability of a 5-year-old. Mallory begins to wonder if these are glimpses of a long long unsolved murder, perhaps relayed by a supernatural force.
What the fudge?
Yeah.
Oh, I
sounds
didn't.
Crazy.
I did not get
I haven't
that.
read this one, but it's on my TBR.
I'm gonna add that right now.
I've heard good things too about it. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh.
I definitely saw it. Their Goodreads puts out lists for the top how many ever books for like a decade, and they
Yeah.
did one that just came out on October 1st for
Oh,
70
okay.
something books of the last century that people have rated high on Goodreads.
Yeah.
And this was
on.
Yeah.
On it? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been meaning to read it, but
That sounds super interesting.
I don't really read much like horror.
Same.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I read a lot of thrillers, but not much horror. But this one seems pretty good.
It does. It seems suspenseful
Yeah.
of like, why is a child drawing very descriptive pictures of people hurting themselves?
Exactly.
That sounds cool.
You were kind of close though. You got
Kind
the
of.
pictures aspect of it.
Well, like, I'm trying to like use my brain, you know?
Yeah, you got to kind
Get
of
in
correlate the
pictures.
title with the picture too, right?
Yes. Well, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't
Yeah,
work.
exactly.
Okay, so maybe that's what it's going to trip you up for this one. Okay, What Moves the Dead by T. King Fisher, please.
Oh, God. Okay. So on this cover, we have a creepy ass rabbit with kind of looks like mushrooms coming around him. What is this? What moves the dead? So this book is about it's giving zombies to me for some reason. I don't know why. So this is maybe like a zombie book. Yeah, I don't know. I can't really give like a description.
That's okay.
I'm drawing a blank, but it's giving me like zombies for some reason.
Okay.
What moves the dead, and then like with like the mushrooms.
Okay, well, it's not about, well, I wouldn't say it's not about zombies. So, I just yelled that. What Moves the Dead is a retelling of Edgar Allan Poe's classic, The Fall of the House of Usher, which, by the way, Michael Flanagan has a TV series about the fall of the House of Usher. Watch it now on
Ooh.
Netflix. When Alex Easton, a retired soldier, receives word that their childhood friend, Madeline Usher, is dying, they race to their ancestral home of the Ushers in a remote countryside of... I don't know what that place is. What they find there is a nightmare of fungal growths and possessed wildlife surrounding a dark, pulsing lake. Madeline sleepwalks and speaks in strange voices at night, and her brother, Roderick, is concerned with the mysterious malady of the nerves. I probably didn't say that right. Aided by a redoubtable British mycologist and a baffled American doctor, Alex must unravel the secret of the House of Usher before it consumes them all.
Oh, okay.
I've never read this book. It has been on my Goodreads to read because when I heard that Mike Flanagan was retelling Edgar Allan Poe, The Fall of the House of Usher, I wanted to read this book because it was also inspired by this book as well. Cool. It's really cool.
Yeah,
it's really cool. I haven't read this book. I want to read it.
Sounds like it's good, and it would make a good like show.
It's it's a really good show, and it came out last year.
So,
but you were kind of right though with like zombies. Things do come back to life.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
It's not like a traditional zombie that you're thinking of, but
it's in the same like sort of field.
Yeah, you kind of got it. Not really, but
not really. I want you to look at my Dark Romeo. Okay,
this has a bunch of like cherubs. So the background's very light, cloud-like, very heavenly. I don't know if the word is cherubs, but like people who have like wings, very Roman-esque.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just these people tossing things to each other, trying to hold on to each other. My Dark Romeo. I'm going to say this is like based in Greece, okay? They're in, for some reason, I'm getting Greek vibes. I'm trying not to like think of Romeo and Juliet, but I'm going to go there. It's about this female who is very intrigued by this male, and they're kind of like star-crossed lovers. I'm just going to give the description of Romeo and Juliet. So I don't even know.
You're kind of close.
That's what my mind's
Yeah.
going to because of Romeo. I'm thinking star-crossed lovers. It's giving me, they're not meant to be together. He's kind of like dark and mysterious. This book is like, if you're looking at the cover, you guys, it doesn't really give me like
give you much.
No, it doesn't give me much, but I was going to say it doesn't give me like horror.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
no.
So it's hard for me to describe anything other than Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah. It's kind of along those lines.
Okay,
It's like
tell
a dark
me.
romance between a cruel billionaire heir and a feisty heiress unafraid to fight back. So it's
Not
it's
Greek.
kind of like the opposite of Romeo and Juliet, where like they're forced together.
Oh.
And you know what I mean?
Okay.
It was a good book. I like this one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You read it?
Yeah, I read this one.
Yeah, that.
I have a very brief description here, but
Okay.
yeah, it's essentially like, yeah, it's kind of like the opposite of Romeo and Juliet.
Mm-hmm.
They're forced
forced together.
and they hate each other instead of like wanting to be together.
The cover like threw me off.
I know.
Like all these other covers are like dark and
Yeah.
and this one's like light
Totally.
and clouds.
Totally.
I want you to look at "We Used to Live Here" by Marcus Kelly.
We
I don't know.
used to live here. So what I'm looking at is a nice home, blue home, with some blank like trees around it. Or
Blank
not
trees
blank
around it.
trees, but like trees with no leaves on them. We used to live here. Oh man.
I know this is like it's just a house.
Yeah,
like
it's just
you're
a
just gonna have to
house.
think about something.
So we used to live here. It's about a young girl. She moves away from home. I don't know. She comes back, sees her old house, relives memories. He catches up with an old fling. I don't know.
That's okay. That's not bad, but it's not what it is.
Yeah.
This actually is going to be coming to Netflix. Starring guess who?
Who?
Blake Lively.
Oh, stop! No.
Yes, starring Blake Lively. So the description says Get Out meets Parasite in an eerily haunting debut about two homeowners who lives are turned upside down when the house's previous resident unexpectedly visit. As a young queer couple who flips houses, Charlie and Eve can't believe the killer deal they've gotten on an old house in a picturesque neighborhood. As they are, what is happening today, you guys? This is so ridiculous. As they are working in the house one day, there's a knock on the door. A man stands there with his family, claiming to have lived there years before, and asking if it would be all right if he showed his kids around. People pleasers to a fault, Eve lets them in. As soon as the strangers enter their home, uncanny and inexplicable things start happening, including the family's youngest child going missing, and a ghostly presence materializing in the basement. Even more weird, the family can't seem to take a hint that their visit should be over. And when Charlie suddenly vanishes, Eve slowly loses her grip on reality. Something is terribly wrong with the house and the visiting family. Or is Eve just imagining things?
Ooh, that sounds really good.
Really, really good.
I don't think I've ever seen Blake Lively in like a
What's with people putting Blake
horror
Lively in
kinda
things? I don't know.
vibe.
I know. I was kind of upset when I saw that, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
that she's going to be in there. But I've heard nothing but good things about this
Yeah.
book. It sounds so interesting.
It does.
So
Yeah, it sounds really good.
check it out.
So I want you to look at the Hazelwood.
Okay, the Hazelwood. It's a black cover with gold and white sketchings of different things. We have what looks like the golden gates. There's like gates with like a tree in it. There's feathers. There's a comb, bones, bird cage, city skyline, a hand holding a dagger, a house, a crow. Okay, and it looks kind of like an hourglass, a castle. The Hazelwood. So the Hazelwood for me kind of seems like a place. Hourglass. No, maybe it's like a figure 8. Maybe that's an hourglass. Oh gosh. Okay, so I'm gonna say a hazelwood is trees. There's bones are still.
This is harder than we thought.
This is harder than we thought. Oh my gosh, I don't have a creative mind. I'm thinking the Hazelwood is a mansion, and it's the Hazel Woods, and they own this huge big property, and there's a bunch of mystery. This boy or person is like wanting to get married, and brings home his soon-to-be wife to come to this mansion, and a lot of things start happening.
Kind of close.
Close, but not close.
So the Hazelwood is about 17-year-old Alice and her mother have spent most of Alice's life on the road, always a step ahead of the uncanny bad luck biting at their heels. But when Alice's grandmother, the reclusive author of a cult classic book of pitch dark fairy tales, dies alone on her estate, the Hazelwood, Alice learns how bad her luck can really get. Her mother is stolen away by a figure who claims to come from the hinterland, the cruel supernatural world where her grandmother's stories are set. Alice's only lead is the message her mother left behind: stay away from the Hazelwood. Ooh. So it's giving like Sabrina the Teenage Witch vibes, I think, a little bit. I haven't read it, so I don't really know for sure. But
it sounds interesting.
You know, like that, like supernatural,
yeah.
Like,
and I love
witchy kind of
I
vibe.
loved Sabrina the Teenage Witch when I was younger, and I love the retelling on Netflix.
Yes, I love that one.
That was such a good
series.
No, that's cool. That sounds really good.
Yeah.
Hopefully that was
like a
like
fall read, I think.
Yeah. I'm very interesting of all the ones that we chose.
Yes.
That I definitely want to read more. There's always like so many books you want to read, not enough time.
I know. That's why I was trying to listen to an audiobook.
The audiobook?
Like maybe I can get more in there.
I think maybe with audiobooks, you have to try different books with different voice actors.
Yeah.
Because I feel like once maybe you just find one,
yeah,
then you could possibly get into
exactly.
it. But then like you're paying to constantly listen to ones you don't even like.
It's like $16, I think, or 1 credit. So I used my credit.
Okay. No, you gotta do Libby.
Like,
You could do Libby.
I could buy a whole book for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, try Libby and then just rent the audiobook and try that. Because I definitely wouldn't spend that much money on potentially not even listening to it.
Exactly. No thanks.
No, thank you. I hope it was fun for you guys. I know it's not really, it's kind of hard for audio listeners. So hopefully our description of the covers kind of gave you an idea of what the books could be about.
Yeah.
Be interested if any of these are ones you guys have read or have heard before.
Yeah,
if you guys have any if you have any recommendations on horror TV shows or movies, I'd love to hear about it.
Me too. That's my favorite genre.
Yep. Always looking out for more. And before we end this off, we're kind of curious of how Reading Flock is going with everyone.
Yes, our book of the month.
Book of the month. Have you read it? We're, halfway through October. You still have time to pick it up if you haven't already.
Yeah.
It's a pretty easy book to go through.
It is, yeah. It's not too crazy, not long, really.
No. Well, once it interests you, you kind of go through it pretty quick.
Oh, definitely. It's a page turner.
It's a page turner. Wait, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, we'll catch you next time.
Bye.